The Chevy Equinox EV does not share anything with the gas-powered Equinox besides its name. It's a dedicated electric vehicle platform that is really a design combination with the Chevy Blazer. They are two cars similar on the outside yet subtly different in the inside and built on the insanely versatile Ultium platform. The Ultium platform is supporting so many types of vehicles inside and outside of GM, one needs to really understand the choices to be made individually. The Ultium supports all-wheel drive with a front-wheel bias, and all-wheel drive with a rear-wheel bias, single-motor front-wheel drive, and the single-motor rear-wheel drive. Don't think any other EV platform does that anywhere in the world. It then runs through vastly different vehicles from the likes of Equinox, the Honda Prologue to the Hummer line of cars. For users, it then boils down to what they really need their car for and the model that best performs for them. Then the cars also have their own problems, the most common being DC charging. The Equinox EV has been pitched as the low-cost crossover SUV that competes with an expanding list of options. The ID4, the Volvo EX40, the Honda Prologue, the Acura ZDX, the Ford Mustang Mach-E, and on top of all, the Tesla Model Y. So let's get into it. Getting the specifications or details from GM can be extremely arduous at times. In fact, a number of things can be subject to change and updates. Viewers are urged to check and confirm all the details given here prior to any decision of significance. It's amusing how Chevy presents information at times which appears from an era bygone, like it actually specifies the speedometer in the instrument cluster or even mentions the license plate bracket. The Chevy Equinox EV is 190.55 inches long, 76.94 inches wide without the mirrors, and 64.8 inches tall. It has a wheelbase of 116.3 inches and a minimum ground clearance of 6.4 inches. The link is in the description. In the front is the split headlight design, a light strip running across the top and small LED headlights in the front. Its roof is relatively flat but may seem low to some. The rear has a bell-shaped design over the lower roofline. It surely brings stability in the drive, particularly on turns. The trade-off to that is some exaggeration on the sides to improve the aero profile, and that could set back some cargo space in the rear. The cap-like roof appearance in the rear leads to the rear glass, that is a rear wiper, and then some flat surface on the rear hatch. Below that are the LED lights with the Equinox logo in the middle. At the bottom is some black plastic at the rear bumper. This is worth checking across other trims and does appear a bit too soft for comfort, but then also easy to replace on costs. Reminds me that this is the cost-effective option to the Blazer. It has a charge port that's manual to open and available with the CCS1 port. The Equinox has no front trunk, but given the shorter hood and those extra inches packed in the rear, it does bring a good rear trunk. The cargo at 26 cubic feet is fairly acceptable. It surprisingly exceeds the one in the longer Blazer, with the Blazer having prioritized more legroom and a slightly wider cargo stance. The narrow opening of the hatch plays majorly in lost cargo space in many vehicles. It's also critical to getting things in. I have seen cars with improved cargo numbers, but a narrow hatch that's difficult to work with. The Equinox has a fairly deep understorage in the rear cargo. It gets some useful dividers to keep small utilities like the EVSC, the fix-a-flat kit, etc. The driver's seat appears low but offers some useful headroom. It offers the 4-way adjustable lumbar support that's specific to trims. The seats have a darker fabric insert in the center along with a perforated center section. They have adjustable shoulder belts and headrests. The seat ventilating again would be trim specific. The rear seats have comfortable legroom contrary to common perception. The bench, however, should be narrower to the one in the Blazer. In the 60-40 combination, it folds almost flat to extend the cargo area. The rear seats offer air vents and 2 charge-only USB-C ports. The rear seats get fold-down armrests with 2 cup holders. The front doors are clearly in 2 halves. They have the bottom hard plastic portion but a soft touch armrest and some soft material up top. At the door handles are some colored accents and the lock-unlock buttons. The rear doors are all hard touch except at the armrest. The dash has 2 round style vents in the corners. The blue trim from the door continues towards the dash and under the infotainment screen. The big 17.7 inches LCD screen is standard on the Equinox and sits on top of the two large air vents. The contest for driving data has already led GM doing away with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Also, I would presume. This to me is a turning point where companies are now probably realizing that third party software can't be better in helping them get to better route planning, charging assistance, and other EV related functions any more than themselves. Just my guess. One pedal drive and some light settings are made a part of the infotainment. Beneath it is the single zone automatic climate control. Above the infotainment, near the rearview mirror, are the elements of the active safety system. The Equinox offers a trim dependent moonroof. Under the infotainment, there is some large storage which will offer trim dependent wireless charging mats with some decent storage underneath as well. Further on the center console are the two data plus charging USB ports, some storage, and two large cup holders. Following that is a very narrow armrest with storage underneath. That storage is equipped with some utility dividers. The 11-inch instrument cluster is a colored LCD that displays the vehicle information, warnings, and offers some personalizations. It offers 5 themes: single gauge, dual gauge, driver assistance, map, and clean. The steering is still telescopic and does appear to have a large scope of motion. The steering is fairly beefy with Super Cruise integrated at the top. It's doing the driver monitoring along with a small module just behind the wheel. A very small regen paddle is provided on the left spoke of the steering. The track and volume up down is provided in the back of the two sides of the steering. Buttons for the media interaction, operating the instrument cluster, and the heated steering wheel are on the right spoke, while the ADAS and Super Cruise controls are on the left. It looks fairly good in its handling and driving dynamics. The wide tires must be helping its big size. At some point, the rear-wheel drive option will be available, and that should be better. The all-wheel drive will be preferred in the larger parts of northern areas with snow. It even feels fairly quiet here in the cabin. The big battery is surely helping isolating from the road. The big battery and its structure may be affecting its ability to come to a halt. That's surely in comparison with its competition and the Model Y. That's also due to its structure in comparison, say, to a Ford Mustang Mach-E. When accelerating, the full power is made available around 30 to 32 miles per hour in the front wheel drive. It helps avoiding the front wheel torque steer. I guess it also helps with the drive stability. That's different with the all-wheel drive. There are some significant issues to consider with the Equinox, and those are related to its ability to charge. The first one I'd like to talk about is its low pack voltage. The power of a battery pack is the sum of its modules. The volt times the modules that are assembled in series times the fixed amps. That final nominal pack voltage is what the chargers try to match when delivering the power. The Equinox EV has a remarkably low pack voltage. Voltages are generally low when the battery is in a low state of charge, and it gradually ramps up upon receiving power, what is also called the voltage curve. Lower voltages require higher amps for higher power. Power is amps times volts, and higher amps is higher heat and related losses. This hampers the ability of the pack to take in the power the chargers put out, as higher heat leads the pack to thermal derate and slow down the charging. The 150 kilowatt peak DC rate in the Equinox, besides being low for an 85 kilowatt hour battery, would demand 575 amps from a 150 kilowatt US DC charger that's capped at 350 amps. That's because at a low state of charge, I expect the Equinox pack voltage to be at 260 to 265 volts, and it would compensate that by demanding those extra amps, which obviously it would not receive. Even the 350 kilowatt chargers in the US are capped at 500 amps, leading to a very poor charging curve. This is a significant issue with the Equinox EV, and it would affect its road tripping capabilities. Going forward, this may be fixed, but the currently available Equinox EV would hence be restricted somewhat to daily city driving alone. The other issue is access to the Tesla superchargers. It's true that GM has finally gained access to the superchargers, but that's a significantly delayed process even with Ford and Rivian, who gained access ahead of GM, and most of their customers still await the official adapter. Besides, adapters are not the right solution in my opinion in the long run, particularly at least for those users who rely on supercharging as their main source of energy. DC charging, besides being bad for the batteries, is simply lots of power, which is only to be utilized when on long trips for short durations. that the car will need to get to the next charger. These are issues viewers here would do well to keep in mind. Your informed decision is what I strive for, whatever that be. Listen, if you like this content, share your views in the comments. If you would like to see the 24,000 miles range check on my Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive, check the video here or via its link in the description. See you in the next one.